What is up guys, and welcome back to SP Vids. In this video I want to show you this little tip which I figured out with repitching. Now the repitching effect on the SX and the A, it isn't that great, and it never really got better after the 202. So on the 202 you get that amazing repitching, and then they just completely got rid of it on the 303, and it's the same on all the devices since then really. Hopefully in the future Roland do release another device and it does have better repitching again, just like we had on the 202, because it's just such a cool feature. Anyway, I've been playing around a lot with the repitching recently, especially on drums. So this is really centered around drums, and I'm going to show you this little tip which adds a lot of texture to your drums. It allows you to repitch them, but you're going to always get the right sounds that you want. So stick around, I'm going to jump on the SX now and I'm going to show you exactly how this is done. I've got some drum sounds here, and they're actually from my Lo-Fi Drums Volume 2 pack. If you want to check these drums out and support what I'm doing, I would really appreciate it. You just have to go to spvids.com. You can download them there. It's an instant download once you've paid, so it's nice and easy to do. So these are the drums that I've got here. And an effect I've noticed a lot recently when listening to beat tapes, especially on SoundCloud, is that you have these like really down-pitched drums in certain tracks, and it just completely changes the dynamic of a beat. And it can be really handy in the middle of, say, a tape where you just want to change the sound completely to keep the listener interested. I think this is a really cool technique. So go ahead and do MFX, DJ Looper at the same time, and 9. As you can see, I've already pressed it, so I've got 21, which is the repitching. This left dial is going to be your repitching. So with this one, you want to kind of go slightly to the left of 12 o'clock, but not too much because it does start getting a bit crazy, but feel free to experiment. With fade balance, I think this is, you don't want this anywhere near the right-hand side because it does this. Which, although is quite a cool effect, it's not what I actually want to do here. So I'm going to keep fade balance, which I think that is. I'll check that and put it up on the screen if it's wrong, but I think that means fade balance. And then we've just got balance, which we want on full because we don't want to blend the repitching with the original sample. That is what the right-hand dial does, the blue one in this case. It blends the original sample. So if you can hear there, that's half and half. It's kind of like a wet, dry dial, basically. So I've got the parameters set up how I want them to be. But this is what happens when you start playing around with them. So I hope you can hear this. It's very subtle, but basically sometimes the repitching kind of fades off the beginning of the sample, and it gives this really horrible effect, especially when it's drums and you want that sort of hard edge at the start of the waveform on your sample. You don't want that rounded off at all, really. So then when I hit it, you could hear that it was a perfectly nice, strong hit. But if I go to hit it again, there you see. Sometimes you get that really mushy sound, and it's kind of weird and doesn't work. So a way around this is to use resample. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep resampling basically until we get the sound that we want. So I'm going to do the snare first, and it'll be my luck that it'll probably just work first time, but I'll show you anyway for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to hit resample record onto pad 6, and I'm going to do the snare first. And let's just keep hitting that until we hear the sound that we definitely want. Okay, that fourth one was really nice there. I left a little gap and then the fourth one was good. So let's have a listen back to that. There we go, that fourth one's perfect. And compared to the original, so we've got much different texture there. So let's go ahead and mark that up. Okay, and exchange those. Okay, so that's the snare done. So hopefully you can see what's happening there. I'm resampling the sound a few different times, and hopefully with this repitching or repitching effect or pitching effect, whatever you want to call it, you will eventually get the sound in there which you want. So let's go ahead and do the kick as well. If you can hear there, it's doing all kinds of crazy things. So let's do a resample. And to be honest, on that occasion, I think the first one is the best one. So that sounds kind of okay. That's the original. That's the repitched one. It's only slightly different, this one, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with the start of that one. So I don't really need to do anything apart from exchanging it. And finally, let's do the hi-hat. Now, the hi-hat is definitely one which gets messed around with a lot. I think it might be to do with the high frequency of it and the fact that it's just a very sharp sound as well, that it kind of gets messed up by the repitching. So let's go ahead and do this one as well. And hopefully, so I can show you the example here, that it doesn't do it on the first hit that I do. Okay, so we've got a few sounds there, and I quite like the fourth one that I sampled, I think, so let's give that a listen. There we go, that sounds good. Just doing the start end point there, and let's exchange that as well. So now we can take off the pitch effect, and we've got 3 drum sounds which are all going to sound spot on every time we hit them. We're not going to have to rely on that pitcher and let it do all that crazy stuff that it does to the samples. So let's have a look at what they sound like now all together. So this is the original, and this is the down-pitched ones or re-pitched ones. So I think that really does add a nice texture to the drums there. It's obviously lower in pitch because I pitched it down, but it just kind of fills out the mix a bit more, and it's got a really nice sort of interesting vibe to it. So if this is something you haven't even tried before, it's definitely worth giving it a go. I really am enjoying re-pitching drums at the moment. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you found that useful. I think it adds a really nice texture to your drum sounds when you pitch them down a little bit, and I hear this all the time on beat tapes on SoundCloud. So go ahead and give that a try if you haven't tried it before, and hopefully that little tip which I shared with you means you get more consistent drum sounds when you're using that repitching. As I mentioned earlier, if you could go and check out spvids.com and look at my drum packs on there. The drum packs that I sell are basically the main thing that fund this channel and keep me doing what I'm doing, so I'd really appreciate it if you could go over and pick up a pack. As soon as you pay, it's an instant download, so they'll be yours straight away. It's super simple to do. Other than that, if you're new around here, smash the subscribe button as I'm sharing tips like this all the time, and hit that thumbs up if you did like this tip because it helps me with the YouTube algorithms as well, so I would really appreciate that. Until next time, guys, keep making beats, and I'll be back with more content soon. Peace!